I knew as a kid that I wanted my works to be, you know, I wanted my works to take center stage, to be in the forefront of everything, you know, rather than me being, the one. You get what I'm trying to say? Cause I used to draw like little comics and things, and I loved the idea of them taking off and me being in the background. I didn't even like the reality of authors, creators, writers being known publicly, you know, because I felt like it took you out of the immersion. It took you out of the space of whatever it is you were consuming. Like say you were reading a book or watching a show or whatever, watching a movie, whatever, just consuming art. The possibility of you just knowing who made this, or putting a face, yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, like just tying a face onto this art, kind of took away from the art in my eyes. So I knew as a little boy, I knew that I wanted my works to. I didn't even want my face anywhere near my art. Not for like personal reasons, but for the reasons that I just explained. Like I feel like I felt like it took away from a little bit from the art. Not like a lot, but like a little bit. Because you want your art to feel like it exists on your own, independent of you, independent of a creator. You want people to feel like this place truly exists rather than it being, you know, a product of an individual, the imagination of an individual. So it's only as like I got older when I started tying my face onto my art a bit, showing my face in videos and things, aspiring or like wishing that people knew who I was, you know. I only started to adopt that thinking as I grew older. But I feel like my younger self really was onto something with that, and I need to tap back into that sort of thinking, because right now I can sense within me that I do like the idea of, you know essentially people thinking that I'm cool for all the things that I'm making, be it anything, like my drawings, whatever, like songs, products that I'm trying to make, the little cartoons that I make, be it anything. I can sense that I like the idea of people thinking that I'm cool, you know, being validated, like personally being validated, having people say stuff like that, like, oh, you're so cool, people think that you're cool, that sort of thing, which is necessary to some degree, because we're social beings, we need to feel valid, you know but I don't know. It takes away from the art, I feel. Because I remember I remember like listening to Linkin Park back in the day, you know, and I hadn't seen them out, and I thought to myself, I don't ever want to see what these guys look like, because that's gonna ruin my, imagination. That's gonna ruin my idea of them, and my idea was perfect. My idea was whatever it needed to be in order to make this music sound as good as possible. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean, because that can come across as very superficial. That can come across as me saying, music only sounds good if the person who's making it looks appealing. And that's not what I'm trying to say. I just mean that if the person doesn't look like how you imagine them to be, it can be um it can put like a bump in the road. It can soil your perception a little bit. It can put like a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth because you've set them up to be this particular, person, or you set up this whole scenario, like be it them and the music. You set up this whole scenario in a way that is most suitable for you. So when reality, bleeds in and seeps in, it kind of like skews your beloved perception, or your beloved view, you know? Yeah. Fortunately, them dudes were not ugly. So I didn't have a hard time just readjusting my idea of them upon seeing them, you know. And it kind of after seeing them and after, being used to how they look and stuff, like their their look just kind of married my idea of them. And yeah, my idea my yeah, my perception of them was all right even after discovering what they look like. But yeah, there's just one reason, not one reason, but one example of being exposed to the actual thing possibly changing your perception on art, or changing my perception, seeing as it's my experience. Yeah, because fame kind of sucks, this is like a side thing now, but fame kind of sucks. So many famous people say stuff like, "Yeah, I wish I could be I wish I could be like a normal person again." And I believe them. I truly believe them. I like just walking around, you know. I like just walking around, being free. So yeah, I'll try to tap back into that a bit more. In fact, all of the ventures that I'm trying to work in, they kind of require me to do that. They kind of require me to take the backseat a little bit. With the animations. The animations are their own thing. I can't slap my face onto that. I'm animating entirely different characters. So I need to take the backseat. You know, pedals. I'm making pedals. I recognize that I'm gonna need like media people and stuff to take the wheel in that area, and they're gonna have to do the marketing and I just have to make the pedals behind the scenes. That's another avenue where my face and my personality isn't required to be at the forefront of things. Yeah, shout out to my younger self. I forgot what prompted me to talk about this. Maybe I just saw like a very self-centered thing on the internet. I do these videos like just out of nowhere, like suddenly. You know what I mean? I don't prepare for these, as you can probably tell from the way that I deliver my sentences and stuff. I don't prepare. So I probably just saw some loser being all self-centered, and I wanted, which is ironic because this whole video is about me not taking the. It's like, it's kind of like a paradox a little bit, like me not taking the, you know, center stage and whatnot. But this entire video is about me. I don't know. It's funny, but then obviously this can apply to anyone else. Yeah, this video is over. This video is over.